Let's be honest, when you hear the term data analytics, you probably think of boring spreadsheets and complicated charts, right? Well, what if I told you it was actually a company's hidden superpower? In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how data completely transforms a business, turning pure guesswork into a serious competitive advantage. I mean, it sounds like something out of a movie, doesn't it? But imagine if a company could actually anticipate what its customers wanted next, or spot a huge problem before it even happens. Now, we don't have a magic crystal ball, of course, but data analytics, it's the closest thing we've got to making that a reality. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll see how a company gets its powers in the first place. Then, we'll open up the analytics utility belt to see the tools inside. After that, it's all about learning how to use those powers, keeping score of your wins, and finally, witnessing the full transformation into a data-driven hero. You know, every superhero has an origin story. And for a company, that story usually starts in a world of pure guesswork. Decisions are made based on gut feelings, what worked 10 years ago, or, let's be real, whatever the boss thinks is the right move. But then comes that one moment when data walks in and changes absolutely everything. And this is that massive shift. On one side, you've got the old way, running on intuition, just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. But on the other side, you have the new way, making choices that are actually backed up by hard evidence. It's the difference between hoping you're right and having the data to show you the way. And believe me, this change sends a ripple effect through the entire organization. It completely rewires how people make decisions, how different teams collaborate, and even how the company tackles its biggest challenges. Suddenly, a new culture starts to form, where the most important question you can ask is, okay, that sounds good, but what does the data say? So if data is the superpower, then you can think of analytics techniques as all the amazing gadgets in a superhero's utility belt. Each tool has a very specific job, letting a company handle pretty much any challenge that gets thrown its way. Let's take a look at some of the coolest tools in the belt. First up, we've got regression analysis. This tool is all about connecting the dots. It helps you answer questions like, hey, if we spend $1 more on this ad campaign, how many more dollars in sales will we actually get? It doesn't just say things are connected, it tells you how much they're connected. Next up is clustering. This is like having the power to see these invisible tribes hidden within your customer base. It automatically groups people together based on how they behave. You might suddenly discover a group that only buys on weekends or another group that only ever buys things when they're on sale. It's fascinating stuff. Then there are association rules, which you might have heard of as market basket analysis. This is the classic one. It finds stuff that people tend to buy together. You know, the whole people who buy bread also buy butter thing. It sounds simple, but for a store, that's incredibly powerful info for deciding how to lay out the aisles or what promotions to run. And finally, the really high-tech gadget in the belt, machine learning. This is where we get really close to that predicting the future idea. These are smart algorithms that chew through past data, learn the patterns, and then make predictions. Like, they can actually flag which customers are most likely to leave, so the company can step in and try to save the relationship. Of course, having a utility belt packed with awesome gadgets is one thing, but a real hero knows which tool to pull out for the right job. You wouldn't use a laser beam to pick a lock, right? The exact same logic applies here. It's all about strategy. And choosing the right tool really just comes down to a simple process. First, you got to know what kind of data you're even looking at. Are they numbers that can go on forever, like sales, or are they set categories, like product names? Second, what's the big question you're trying to answer? Are you comparing things, predicting something, or just finding relationships? And last, you have to think about what your data actually represents. Is it just a label, or is there a meaningful order to it? Nailing these down is key. Okay, so once you've got your answers, you have to actually show them to people. And that's where visualization comes in. Honestly, think of it as the hero's X-ray vision. It lets everyone in the room see the insights that are hiding deep inside all those numbers. It turns a confusing mess into a picture that just makes sense. For instance, a simple bar chart is absolutely perfect when you need to compare different groups. In a split second, you can see who's winning, who's in the middle, and who's lagging behind. It's clean, it's simple, and it's just so effective. But what if you want to tell a story that happens over time? Well, that's when the line chart becomes your best friend. It's the perfect way to show a trend, whether you're tracking sales growth over a year or website visits from month to month. It shows the journey. So with all these amazing powers, how does our data hero know if they're actually winning? Well, they need a scoreboard. And in business, that scoreboard is built from metrics. These are the key numbers that tell you if you're succeeding and moving closer to your goals. And here are some of the all-stars on that scoreboard. You've got customer lifetime value, which is basically what a customer is worth to you over time. Churn rate tells you how many customers you're losing. Customer acquisition cost, or CAC, is how much you have to spend just to get one new customer. And of course, you've got others like ROI and conversion rate that measure how well your strategies are working. Each one tells a crucial part of the story. But here's the trick to using the scoreboard right. You have to check it at the right rhythm. If you check it too often, like every single day, the little ups and downs just become noise and it's confusing. But if you check it too rarely, you could miss a massive opportunity or fail to see a big problem until it's too late. You gotta find that sweet spot. And so, after embracing data, mastering the tools, and keeping a close eye on the score, the company finally completes its transformation. It's no longer just stumbling around in the dark, guessing what to do next. It has become a true data-driven hero, capable of doing some pretty incredible things. And we're not just talking about abstract concepts here. The results are real and they are powerful. Decision-making gets way smarter. Revenue goes up, costs come down. Customers are happier because the company finally gets them. You start seeing new opportunities you never knew existed. Innovation picks up speed, and you build a competitive advantage that's really hard to beat. Ultimately, if you remember one thing, it should be this. The real superpower isn't just about finding an answer in a spreadsheet. It's about causing a fundamental, permanent shift in how an entire organization thinks, how it operates, and how it sees the world around it. So that leaves us with one last question to chew on. This isn't just for big corporations. Think about your job, your team, or even a personal project. How might your world change? How much smarter could your decisions be if you just started asking that one simple, powerful question, what does the data say?